Am I on? We're here at Go Forest to continue discussing Master YongHua's Chan Qi instructions. This is our last week of the Chan Qi, so welcome all. And I'm glad that we all have the chance to learn from the great master. Okay, let's get started, please.
不离世间境。
Mountain?
The Buddha Dharma is in the world. Enlightenment is not apart from the world.
它是在世间，在世间，在什么地方呢？世间这么大，你找佛法怎么样找法？
He said, in the world, in the world, in what place? The world is so vast. How do you go about finding the Buddha Dharma?
所以第二句不离，就离在这个不离两个字。
So the second sentence says, not apart. The emphasis lies on these two characters, not apart.
不离什么呢？不离世间讲，世间讲就世间的这个智慧。
Not apart from what? Not apart from worldly awakening. Worldly awakening is wisdom of the world.
你有了世间智慧，你才能知道怎么样出世。
Only when you have worldly wisdom will you be able to know how to transcend the world.
如果你没明白世间智慧，你也没有办法知道什么是出世。
If you do not understand worldly wisdom, you also have not discovered and do not know what transcendental is.
所以说，离世觅菩提，你离开这个世界，你要找菩提呀。
Therefore, search for Bodhi apart from the world. As you depart from this world in search of Bodhi,
找这个角道啊，流入求兔，就好像在那个秃子头上你要找犄角。
seeking this path of enlightenment is like looking for a hare with horns, just as if you are looking for a rabbit with antlers on its head.
那么世间法，一般人都有这个贪心，有这个嗔心，有这个痴心，有这个慢心，有这个疑心。
So with worldly dharmas, ordinary people all have this mind of greed, this mind of hatred, this mind of stupidity, this mind of arrogance, and this mind of doubt.
贪嗔痴慢疑，这是一般人所具有的。
This type of greed, hatred, stupidity, arrogance, and doubt is what ordinary people have.
你一定要把这个贪嗔痴慢疑给他解说清楚。
You must clearly explain this greed, hatred, stupidity, arrogance, and doubt to him.
他明白这是一种不正的法，他就会去他的贪心。
Once he understands that this is a kind of improper dharma, he will cut off his mind of greed.
去他的嗔心，去他的痴心，去他的慢心，去他的疑心。
Cut off his mind of hatred, cut off his mind of stupidity, cut off his mind of arrogance, and cut off his mind of doubt.
能以令人把贪嗔痴慢疑这五毒都没有，那么这就是世间。
The ability to help others let go of these 5 poisons, greed, anger, stupidity, arrogance, and doubt, to the point that it's all gone. This, then, is worldly awakening.
这就是觉悟了。
This is enlightenment.
觉悟，这个觉悟不是到出世去。
Enlightenment. This enlightenment is not to be sought in the transcendental realm.
所以在世间，这个觉悟和迷，就是觉悟就是迷的反面，迷转过来就是觉悟。
So it's in this world, this enlightenment and confusion. Enlightenment is the opposite side of confusion. You turn around and you are enlightened.
你不转过来就是迷，所以觉者就是佛也，迷者就是众生。
If you do not turn around, you are deluded. Hence, the enlightened one is the Buddha, while the deluded are sentient beings.
你能觉悟，就和诸佛同体。迷要是迷得太厉害，就是众生。所以，
If you can become enlightened, you are the same substance as all Buddhas. If you are deluded, and deeply so, you are a sentient being.
你自己找自己的道。那么，这是要自己发现。
So you yourself should find your own path. As for this matter, you yourself should bring forth the resolve.
Okay, let's stop. Thank you. Okay, let's go back to Master Shenhua's teachings here. Okay, this is the kind of insights you have from the sages, where it's maybe you don't get it, but it's important for you to listen to it, and eventually you get it. All right. I differ from his take a little bit, so we discuss both. Okay. What he's teaching about is the 6 Patriarchs teaching. 6 Patriarch is one of the wisest Chinese monks in the history of Chinese Buddhism. And so in his sutra, he said so. His 6 Patriarch Sutra that was recorded by his disciples, enlightened disciples, Great Master Fa Hai. He said that the Buddha Dharma is in the world, enlightenment is not apart from the world. This is very, very important concept. And so Master Hsuan took time to go through that. I think we went through the first half last week nights, and this is the second half that he explained, okay? And so he's going to go about explaining that. He says, in the world, what does it mean to be in the world? The world is very fast, and therefore, where do you go to find this enlightenment in this world? Okay, started out very innocently, says, okay, that's true. If the grace, one of the wisest men said so, therefore you must pay attention. He says, you can find enlightenment in the world, so where are we supposed to go? Okay. And so he's right in saying that it's not so much in the world. The key word is not apart from the world. And this is exactly correct. It's so true. The teaching is, the key is not apart from the world. Okay? And so basically, and this is where we differ. This is where he went off and go into worldly awakening versus transcendental awakening. I personally disagree with this style of explanation. Okay, and of course, he's the patriarch. I'm not. He's enlightened. I'm not. But we are enlightened. We are entitled to express our opinion. It's important to study the sage's teachings, but I feel compelled to tell you my personal take on this. We go over this, okay? And you don't have to agree with me, but we don't have to agree with him either. You should. If you anything at all, you should disagree with me and agree with Master Hsuan. How's that? Okay? Now we all agree on that point. Yes, you too.
Thank you, Master. Cordelia has a couple of questions for you. Emitofuo, Master, how do we practice vow number 5 of the Medicine Master Buddha to revive our precept substance? Do we recite this name, the sutra, or mantra?
Okay. In one of the vows of Medicine Master Buddha's cultivation, he made 12 vows, 12 great vows, and one of the vows is that if you recite his name, you practice his Dharma, you can recover your precept substance. And that's why, for us, the way that Master Hsuan taught us in my generation and the way he left the Buddha Dharma in our world is that in the morning ceremony, he's one of the rare few masters who would do that. He would tell us to, first of all, recite a praise of Medicine Master Buddha, and then walk around or circumambulate and recite Medicine Master Buddha's name. And that is designed to help us recover our precept substance. Okay? And that's what I noticed when I started practicing with him, because I went to many, many temples, and I realized that very few temples would do that. And it's incredibly helpful for us to do that. I encourage you to do that as well, because the nature of those of us who receive the precepts, the Buddhist precepts, is that we will violate them. Okay, precepts are meant to be violated. Okay, because since beginningless confusion, we've been creating karmas, and we are so good at creating karmas. So in one moments of your of your faith in a great teacher like Master Shenhua, like the Buddhas, or Medicine Master Buddha even, you believe that you should go from towards the good and take the precept as guidance. It doesn't necessarily mean that you can succeed in doing it. It's an iterative process. You do it, you accept it, you learn it, you know what's the proper thing to do, and then you know that you can't. And you will lose your precept substance because you violate these precepts that you made a vow not to violate. And Medicine Master Buddha knows that, so he says, I will provide you a mechanism to help you recover your precept substance so that you're whole again, and therefore makes it easier for you to practice. All right? Because if you receive precepts and you break the precepts, then you're losing a precept substance. You're not whole anymore, and therefore you struggle more with your cultivation otherwise. And so this process here is a gift from Master Shenhua, where he allowed us, his disciples, to attend the morning ceremony and recite this Medicine Master Buddha's name. And I did it at City 10,000 Buddhas. I did it at Berkeley Monastery. I did it at his various temples. And there's a difference. So it's a very perceptive question. Okay, when you do this, okay, so you understand the process is that, yes, the Dharma says when you recite the Buddha's name, you practice Medicine Master Buddha's Dharma, you will have this effect where you're able to recover your precept substance once they've been violated, once you've lost them. Okay? However, it is not automatic. Okay? It only works because there are certain people who are enlightened, and when they recite the Medicine Master Buddha's name, then they're able to recover the precept substance. For us who are confused, when we do it ourselves, it takes a lot longer. Am I making sense to you? It's very much like our hands is dirty. Okay, and reciting Medicine Master Buddha's name is like washing it clean. All right? And so just because your hands is dirty and you know you're supposed to wash it and you want to wash it, doesn't mean you can wash it and make it clean in one shot. Am I making sense to you? So for us who are not enlightened, who are weaker, who don't have the skills, when we do that, yes, like we pour water on the dirty hand. So it helps a little bit, yes? The next day, we pour water more on top, so it helps more and more and more and more, right? Eventually, it helps. So it's a matter of time. And the problem is that every single day, we are making our hands dirtier more than we can wash it. You asked. You shouldn't have asked. If you didn't ask, I wouldn't tell you. Because it's depressing, isn't it? We're losing a battle. Okay? And so that's why. But if you didn't, you still are worse off, aren't you? Even if at least you are doing something towards cleansing yourself. There's a better way. You go to places where there are enlightened people who recite the Buddha's name in the assembly with you. Okay? Because of the recitation, they help you clean your hands a lot faster than you were to do it on your own. This is the superior advantage of a great assembly Dharma that the Chinese have, that the non-Chinese do not have. So that's why when you go to these temples where you do ceremonies with someone who's enlightened and preferably high-level enlightenment, and you do the morning ceremony, it is so nice. You feel lighter and so forth. Is it clear? So that's why there's an advantage for you to do it with others in a great assembly environment. All right? Yes, continue.
Thank you, Master. Cordelia
Maybe you don't have to
has-
discuss Master Shenhua stuff here because it's going to get real ugly pretty soon. Continue.
Okay. Cordelia has a question is related to the precept substance. She says, I didn't take the deviant sex precept. Does it become revived if I intentionally broke it? It happened 17 years ago before I started to cultivate.
You didn't violate the precept marks. Okay. So the traditional repentances don't apply to you. The repentances we teach our people who are for those who have taken the precepts, so you don't have to worry about it. Sort of. It's too complicated. I can't explain everything to you in one night. Okay, so don't worry about it now. JC.
Hello. I have a question. You mentioned that the Great Assembly Dharma is only in China, but in Korea, you mentioned that you saw some enlightened monks, and they reside together with the lay people. So does it count as Great Assembly Dharma, or is it different?
Yeah, the Koreans also have the Great Assembly Dharma. That's true. However, we cannot simply stop at words. When you have a Great Assembly Dharma, where is the Great Assembly? If you really understand the Great Assembly Dharma, where is the Great Assembly? Our cultivation is based on the Great Assembly. We're not content with small assembly. It has to be great assembly. This is Korean temple size, typically Buddha hall. The bigger Buddha hall, but it's mostly altars and a very little space for people to stay. So I've been to many of them, and they basically are this size. The newer temples, maybe they make a bigger Buddha halls, but the people who can afford to make a Buddha halls are not very good. There's a problem within cultivation. When you have bigger temples, you need big donors, and big donors want to own you. And that's why it doesn't mix very well. For you to have a big temple and be free from the donors' influence. Okay, and so yes, in Korea there's Mahayana, there are enlightened monks, but it's just my personal opinion. I feel that they don't quite put enough emphasis on the Great Assembly Dharma. I feel that they're very good for Buddhism in Asia because they're able to replicate themselves. I saw these enlightened monks in the past who, and successively to the current generation, I saw how they still maintain the quality of enlightenment, the standard enlightenment, but it's very limited number of people. Okay, it's very selective. And don't tell me because the country is small or whatever. It's not a good excuse enough. Another problem I have is that why aren't women taught? You may accuse me a lot of things, okay? I don't like women, I'm scared of women and all those things. It's all true, okay? But I have a problem when you have to distinguish, when you discriminate and you choose people who you should train, who you should, the Asian system, they prefer to train monks. I have a problem with that. Okay? So, not in just in Asia, but also look at Master Shenhua. I don't believe that he trains his nuns at all. That's what I'm heard from them. I look at their results. They are not that good. They're not that high compared to his monks. At least it used to be the case. And so to me, traditionally, Asian Buddhism discriminates against women, unfortunately. And I don't like it. Again, I'm telling you, I have a big mouth, and you shouldn't take everything I tell you with a grain of salt. Okay? There's no reason why we need to depend on only men to transmit the Dharma. After you become enlightened, it's become unisex. Look at Wanyin Bodhisattva. Wanyin Bodhisattva in Tibet is portrayed as a man. In China, it's portrayed as a woman. So bodhisattvas are unisex. You can be a woman and you can be a man. So after right now you're a woman, right now you're a man, but after you become enlightened, you're no longer the same. There's no more sex, gender discrimination. So what I don't understand is why the Asians do not invest more in the nuns than they have, historically speaking. In every single culture, Asian, whether it's Chinese, whether it's Vietnamese, whether it's especially Hinayana people, they don't even allow, nuns at all. In many groups, in many associations. In Korea, for example, the Sunims and the nuns are basically much lower than the monks, and which is a shame because it doesn't have to be that way. Okay, we are different. We're trained anyone who's capable of keeping up with the training program, whether you are a man or woman, or a child, or your skin color doesn't matter, your age doesn't matter. Like look at the old abbot at JMT right now. He was allowed to shave his head when he was over 60 years old. In the Asian Vinaya, you are not allowed to receive the full precepts until after you're 60 years old. You're done. You can at best become a novice monk. And because Master Shenhua set that precedent, he said he allowed many of his male disciples and non-disciples to become fully ordained. I said, well, he set the standards, so I can safely follow it. Okay? There's a process behind it. It's not a casual thing. It's not like anyone can simply decide to, doesn't matter, you are a nun, so I allow you to become fully ordained. It doesn't work like that. Every time you ordain someone, you're supposed to give them the precept substance so that they can cultivate. Without the precept substance, they're going to have a hard time becoming enlightened. If your master, when he confers the precepts upon you, does not give you adequate precept substance, you will not become enlightened. It's very, very difficult. Okay? And so, when you look at that concept, then you see that why Master Shenhua would allow his disciples who were older than 60 years old to become fully ordained, because I saw how he allowed some of the Taiwanese men who's older, and he only wanted to recite the Buddha's name and wait for him to die. Okay, wait to die and go to the Pure Land, and he became a fourth-stage arhat. So I saw that, I said, wow, if he's over 60 years old and he can reach fourth-stage arhat, then makes sense to me. And he should become ordained. okay? Because they reach the goals of becoming a left-form person. And so in Korea, yes, there's still is very strong Buddhism, but two problems. Number one, I feel that it's not really great assembly Dharma, okay? And that's why all the temples are small. Buddha halls are so small. Okay, yeah. And our Buddha halls, let me tell you, has to be bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, to the point where we can handle the people that we want to train. We're not talking about 10,000 people. That's nonsense. Okay, but I'm talking about a few hundred, up to 1,000. Okay, more than that, I think most of the monks cannot handle it unless we have several abbots at the same temple. Multiple abbots. See, we American, we have to think differently, you know. So yes, we will do a lot more stuff, but so the Koreans unfortunately don't have enough. Were not transmitted the Great Assembly Dharma. Korea did not receive it. They went to China. They learned Chan. They learned primarily Chan and Vinaya and sutras, but they weren't really transmitted the Great Assembly Dharma. That's point number one. Point number two, the way it's going, Buddhism going right now, that includes Korea right now, they are not able to attract young people anymore because they're out of touch with the needs of the world. And it exactly pertains to this section here Master YongHua talked about. Okay, the old style in Asia is that you separate from the world, you withdraw from the world, go to the mountain, and become enlightened. Okay, it's too hard for many people, way too difficult. There's no heater, there's no food, huh? There's no toilet. Can you imagine having to go down to the river when it's like very cold in the morning? It's too much. You know, so your energy is spent on dealing with that instead of spending it on becoming enlightened. There's some clear advantages and some also disadvantages. You see that? And so this thing about enlightenment in the world is very, very appropriate for our time. And so in the Chinese system, in the Korean system, and the Hinayana system for sure, and so forth, many of them who have produced talents were in my generation, where they separate people, okay? Pull them apart from the assembly. So they were looking for enlightenment apart from the world. That's why I disagree with him. We didn't have to do that, did we? So we are doing this, they're not. We're doing what the sixth Patriarch is teaching, they're not. And if you, so my point is that because of our times, if you younger people, you older people, over 60, and you face the fact that if you want to become enlightened, you have to go and, in a mountain, or we lock you up, for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, don't let you out until you become enlightened. You go crazy, tough luck, we bury you, okay, if you die and so forth. It's too much for these people, they're weak. So the Dharma has to be flexible enough to help them become stronger, and they become enlightened. Okay? In the past, in my generation, you have to be tough to become enlightened. You're not tough, you die. And for your generation, you're weak. So weak. You need Domino's pizza. you need pho, and because of that, they have a hard time finding recruits for your generation. So that's why in my master's temples, in their generation, they're not getting training anymore. They don't know how to train people because they use a model where you do a Chan Qi for 3 in the morning till midnight for 100 days, and no one can do it. So they keep on cutting it down. So now the Dharma for your generation will not make you become enlightened. And Buddhism, if that's the case, Buddhism will die. We cannot let it happen. We have to go back to Master Huineng's model here. Enlightenment is in the world. Do not run away from the world. Is that clear? So that's why I'm going to tell you I disagree with him. Go ahead, JC.
네, 안녕하세요, 마스터. 입보 한선아입니다. 마스터와 승가에 감사드립니다. 전에 단식 3일 후 멈출지 9일을 해야 할지 질문 드린 적이 있었고, 일이 있다면 이후에 5일 혹은 7일을 할 시간을 마련해 하라고 하셨습니다. 오늘이 단식 8일째이고 생각보다 제 몸 상태가 너무너무 괜찮습니다. 3일의 단식도 절대 못할 것 같다 절대적으로 생각했던 것이 순전히 저만의 생각이었음을 이번에 알게 되었고 아주 귀한 경험을 했습니다. 제가 집에서 혼자 단식을 했다면 절대 하지 못했을 것입니다. 보라선언의 현안 스님을 포함한 모든 승가와 제가자분들, 특히 마스터의 가르침에 진심으로 감사드립니다. 제 질문은 6일차부터 제가 물 마시는 양을 지키지 못했습니다. 100ml를 더 마시거나 어떤 날은 200ml를 더 마셨습니다. 이런 경우 제가 한 단식이 9일을 한 효능이 있는지 꼭 물을 250ml를 지켜야 하는지입니다. 다시 한번 진심으로 감사드립니다.
Master, this message is from Ippo, 한선화. I'd like to thank Master and Sangha. I'm the one who asked the question about fasting. I wanted to stop at 3 days, but there was a suggestion that I should do 9 days. So I asked a question to you a few days ago. After that incident, you'd suggest that try to do 5 days or 7 days if I could afford to do it at any time. So what I did was I continued to do fasting, and today's is my 8th day. And amazingly, other than despite of my original thought, my state of my body is much, much better. At first, I thought that I cannot do the 3 days fasting, and I absolutely I can't do it. But that thought was totally my own thoughts, and this occasion, I learned this precious experience from the fasting. If I would try to fast at home by myself, I will be not able to complete the fasting. I'd like to thank JC and all Sanghas, including Venerable XA, and all the lay peoples, and also thank especially Master's teaching. I have a question. So from 6th day, I did not follow the water consumption restrict. Certain days I drank 100 meter, I'm sorry.
100 liters?
I drank
100 liters?
meters.
She's still alive?
I drank 100 milliliter, I'm sorry. I drank 100 milliliter more than I should, or certain days I drank 200 milliliters. at this case, if I continue to do 9 days of fasting, do I still have do I still have a good result, although I didn't follow the 250 milliliter water restrictions? Thank you very much.
It's kind of late to ask, isn't it? What do you want me to say? It's okay? Okay, it's okay. It's too late. It's too late for me to scold you and so forth. So I might as well praise you. Good job. It's very hard to do. So continue tomorrow. Don't drink anymore. Okay. Next time you do 9 days, adhere to the strict water restrictions. Okay. But it's very good. The water is a neat thing that Master Xuanhua taught us, and you just do it, keep on doing, and do it the first 9 days only. One of the things that is designed to do is exactly what you failed to do. One of the things that they're designed to do is it makes you so thirsty. And it has many reasons why, but from my perspective, but one of the things is that it makes you so thirsty that you go crazy, and you're supposed to endure it. There will be no harm to your body. You just have to endure it. Okay, so remember that, all of you. You're supposed to endure the thirst. You get very, very thirsty, and you go crazy with the thirst. Okay, and so then it makes you more compassionate toward the people in the world who have no water, who have no access to good and clean water. It's a very important resource, and you have it here, and yet you do not allow yourself access to it. So it's very trying on your psyche, and you're supposed to endure it. Okay? So next time, try to endure it. But good job. 9 days for the rest is not bad at all. It's a very difficult thing to do. You have zero energy whatsoever, because all you have is water, okay? And the fat that you're burning in your body. The fat stored in your body, and you're burning. So it's very, very challenging, okay? Good job. Better luck next time. Okay, Wei Mao.
Hello, Master. This is Billy. I'm sorry I left without saying goodbye. I felt like I disrespect you. Sometimes I always thought about it. I passed by the temples and I realized that words I say is I hurt someone at the temples, but I didn't realize it. So every night I came and I took Helen's in the hand. I say, right after I left, I go, this couple months I thought about it. I go, Master was treating me so nice and helped me and Helen's grow up, being so smart girls, and now she's going to gate, which is above the great average. And I realized that what I said is horrible. My stupidity and my anger that get me nowhere, caused me a lot of trouble. And our Dharma brother and sister here, I felt like I miss them so much that every time I go to the other temples, I pray in front of Buddha and Guanyin for forgiveness and repent so much. That Master meant a lot to me, but I didn't realize that. So today I came back, I saw Peter, and I don't know why I cried so much today. I'm sorry, Master.
What did you say about me? About us? Maybe I shouldn't ask that. It's going to be recorded on YouTube. But it won't be the first time.
I felt like I really disrespect you after all those years. You help us and Helen's a lot. I'm sorry, Master.
Okay, it's that bad, huh? Okay, anyone else? Okay. It's, we do help others because we're supposed to, not because whether they understand it or not, appreciate it or not, is irrelevant to us. We have a chance to help, we help. Okay? And when we can. When we no longer can, then sayonara. Okay? We're very busy. I'm very sorry. I don't have a lot of time left. I have a lot of work I need to do. So I cannot afford to get mushy. I do get mushy. Yes, JC.
영어로 할게요. 네, 네. Thank you, Master, for arranging this wonderful chanchi system. And I'd like to report I became a very different person now. I made friends with myself finally, and I feel okay with myself. I used to be like a nagging spouse or harsh trainer to myself, and I wasn't happy about whatever I did. I wasn't happy because I get up late, or I wasn't happy because I'm lazy and everything. And I accept myself as I am, and I trust myself that I will improve or grow. And the second thing is, I am happy and I'm not lonely anymore because I have a great teacher to guide me in the right direction. Thank you very much. And I don't be bothered by people or some awkward situations. And I don't repress unhappy feelings. I'm just okay. I'm not bothered anymore. And this is very different me. And actually, another very amazing thing is I became a friend with English. English has been a very big problem for many years. I didn't like to speak in English because I didn't like to make mistakes. And now it's okay, even though I make a mistakes. And this has been happening about 3 weeks ago. I was during a long sit challenge, I saw a vision. Someone like an astronaut struggling to dissolve heavy, strange-looking thing, studying hard to find out how to figure out how to dissolve it. And all of a sudden, the person looked down and found great wide covering, grayish, greenish, bluish thing, and it was wet. And then
I'm taking a break. I don't know about you, but so that's it. In Korean. I see. I thought it's simultaneous. No, no. Okay. This is a kind of alien thing.
I saw a vision during a long sit challenge 3 weeks ago, and an astronaut was struggling to dissolve a heavy, strange-looking thing, and studying hard to figure out how to dissolve it. And all of a sudden, the person looked down and found a widespread covering. It was wet and it was greenish, bluish thing, and the person shouted, "Oh, what I have been doing! This is the more important and urgent thing to take care of." And at that moment, I found that was me. That was my voice. And at the same time, I felt feelings. One was deep-seated sadness. The covering was my sadness. And it was, the sadness was about, I'm old, I'm sick, and I'm broke, and with foggy brain, with no teacher, and it's over this life. I cannot grow, I cannot develop anymore. The second feeling was anger, that I lost all opportunities and to develop, and I lost time. I wasted time. That anger was at myself, and the third thing was a relief and joy and happiness, because I finally found a teacher, and if I follow his directions, I can grow and I develop this life. That day, I could sit the longest, and when I went outside and outside temple and met people, I became a person that I don't get mad. When they evoke, they seem to evoke my feelings. It was okay, and I don't be bothered anymore. And after a week, I checked with the thing, the covering thing, because I thought it was a problem, big problem, and it got dried, and the covering, 60-70% of the covering was gone, and I saw some patches left, and from under one patch, I saw rays of light coming up, and it was along the boundaries of the patches, and the left where the covering was gone, I saw empty spaces.
나오고 그것이 허공이 되었습니다. 있었습니다.
And I sometimes I could see an unhappy feeling rising up slowly, and I watch it. In a second or two, it's gone. And sometimes I could feel some unhappy feeling up here, and when I stays watching, and it disappears, and that I'm not angry at myself anymore, and my anger has gone. A lot of my anger has gone.
제가 통역하겠습니다. 어떨 때는 불행감이 천천히 보입니다. 그러면 한 1초, 2초 후에 또 사라집니다. 그것을 제가 지켜보면 또 사라집니다. 저한테는 더 이상 화가 없고 많은 화가 없어졌습니다.
But I noticed some uneasy feeling right now. But I didn't. I thought almost all of unhappy feelings. I don't feel as much, and I didn't expect that I can be this happy person, and thank you for all this, and I thank for 스님s and lay people, and especially 저견님 in JC. Thank you very much, and I thank you, Master, and thank you for being with us and guiding us, and so we can grow and develop every day. Thank you very much.
그런데 지금도 좋지 않는 감정이 조금 느꼈습니다. 그런데 별로 그렇게 크게 다가오진 않았습니다. 제가 이렇게 행복한 사람인 줄 몰랐습니다. 다시 말하겠는데 올해서는 승가 제가자, 특히 저견님, 그 마스터 이렇게 함께 하시고 저희를 이끌어 주신 거 정말로 감사합니다. 우리가 함께 성장하고 개발할 수 있는 이런 기회를 주셔서 감사합니다.
Okay, thank you for your feedback. Your English is not bad. I could understand everything you said. That's wonderful. Don't be so hard on yourself. You get there because of a lot of people The Great Assembly means that we are learning from each other. It's not about from me at all. It's a lot of people who help you get there as well. So thank you all for participating and practicing together. All right? And it's just the beginning. There's a lot more wonderful things that you discover. It's just the beginning right now. Okay? Keep it up. DTT.
인스트럭션에 대해서 질문이 있는데요. 예를 들면 오래 앉는다든지 단식을 한다든지 만트를 한다든지 우리가 여러 가지 수행이 있는데 선지식이 제시하지 않고 본인이 자청해서 하는 그런 오래 앉는다든지 단식도 진전할 수 있는 건지 진전과 연결이 되어 있는 건지 질문드립니다.
Master, I have a question about instructions. For example, sitting long or doing mantra or other cultivation ways. If someone just decided by themselves, for example, just studying on fasting, would that be effective as well?
I don't understand the question.
그러니까 제가 인식하고 있기로는 그때그때마다 이제 진전이라는 게 임계치를 넘는 거고 그때그때 상황에 컨디션에 따라서 인스트럭션이 달라질 수 있는데 그냥 본인이 옆에 사람이 단식한다고 해서 옆에 사람이 길게 했는다고 해서 임의로 결정한 롱 시팅이라든지 패스팅이 진전할 수 있는 건지를 질문드립니다.
So what I understood when someone making progress, it depends on conditions, and then according to the condition, instructions changes. But let's say I was sitting with somebody else next to it, and then that person started long sit and fasting. I follow that too. I sit long and then do the fasting by my own. Is that a good idea?
You do whatever you like. There's so many Dharma doors you can try. You want to try that person's way of cultivation? Why not?
근데 제가 질문드리는 거는 옆에 사람이 하는 걸 따라한 것이 진정과 연결되는 건지를 질문드린 것입니다. 네, 맞습니다. 네, 맞습니다. 네, 제가 네.
So if you follow the next person's cultivation way, is that gonna bring any progress? That's her question.
It might, but nothing is guaranteed. Why you look at that person's thing?
그러니까 제가 생각할 때도 약간
Who are we talking about?
그게 아니고요.
I want to hear names.
이름을 잊어버렸고요. 좀 구체적으로 이 질문을 드리게 됐던 이유가 지난 여름에 저희 남편이 DTT에 와서 이제 DTT에서 수행을 했는데 남편 말로는 본인이 한국 사람들이 다 단식을 하겠다고 자청을 했다는 거예요. 그래서 저는 별로 이렇게 제 게으르고 별로 이렇게 힘든 걸 싫어해서 그런 건지 시키지 않은 일을 해본 적이 없어서 이 질문을 드리게 됐습니다.
한국 사람들이
네, 먼저 네, 단식을 해도 되냐, 막 이렇게 먼저 지원을 했다는 거예요. 남편 말로는.
Sorry, Master, I don't know their name, but when my husband came last time to DTT, he said someone started fasting and all Koreans start to volunteer to do the fasting.
She Korean?
So that's the part that she was asking about.
You imitating Koreans?
한국 사람들이 DTT에서 작년 여름에 와서 맞서 단식해도 될까요? 단식해도 될까요? 먼저 지원을 했다는 거예요. 근데 저는 시키지 않은 일을 해본 적이 없어서 좀 의아했거든요. 그래서 그게 본인이 결정한 그런 단식이나 길게 앉는 게 진정과 연관이 되는 건지를 질문드린 것입니다.
So last summer, Koreans came, they asked you if they could do the fasting. instead of waiting for an instruction. Usually what I do is I wait for an instructions. So in that case, do they make any progress?
그러니까 제가 성향이 이렇게 별로 이렇게 시간 낭비하는 걸 별로 안 좋아하고 이렇게 힘든 거를 싫어하다 보니 진전하고 연관되지 않는 고행을 왜 할까 제가 그래서 질문하게 된 거예요.
I don't like waste time.
Just tell
I'm
me, is she
lazy.
Korean or not?
사람들이 말하기를 저는 영어를 못하는 미국 사람이라고 하더라고요.
네, 아니요. I didn't hear 네, 아니요.
People told me I'm an American who can speak English.
It's called too much thinking. Okay, you think too much. Next, YouTube.
Thank you, Master. We'll just have a little break here to say thank you to the YouTube audience. And if you found this an interesting Dharma talk, please join us and like and subscribe. Okay, moving on. We have a comment and 2 questions. Jane Clymer says, "Thank you, Master, for being so inclusive in training your disciples."
You're
And
welcome.
Dan has a question. Emitofuo, Master, is having good neighbors a part of our blessings, or are our neighbors a result of karmic affinities with them? Thank you, Master.
Yes and no and maybe. Okay, all right.
And
There's one more?
yes, one more.
Okay, why not?
Why not? Chris asks, "Dear Master, if we took refuge and received the precepts from a venerable who has left, does it still count, or do we need to retake the precepts?" Emitofuo.
Yeah, it counts. Yeah, all we are just representatives of the Sangha. So any representative can transmit to you the precepts. You don't need to retake the precepts. Okay? I will not be jealous. When you come to my temples, I'm actually practicing Master X, Master so-and-so precepts, not yours. I said, really? No, it doesn't bother me. I hope. Okay. Maybe this is why the translation here, going back to slide 10, maybe the translation here is different from what the English translation is this way because of the way Master YongHua explained it. I don't explain it this way. This is why let me explain to you, present this to you, this makes sense to you, Chinese-speaking people. 无理事见觉, he explained that not apart from worldly awakening. I explained it as the enlightenment is not apart from the world. It's different. So that's why his interpretation, my interpretation is different. And just to influence you, Chinese-speaking people, before you disagree with me, is that my answer, my interpretation includes his. Yes, Chinese person, 5.
Thank you, Master. That's exactly what I was going to comment before all this. I think this is basically, there's 2 ways you can break the phrase. You can say 不离世间觉 or 不离世间觉. So it can be not apart from the worldly awakening as it is now, or not apart from the world. The enlightenment is not apart from the world. So I was exactly thinking about that, and then I agree it makes more sense to have the second interpretation, where
Don't say second or first. Is it my interpretation or his interpretation?
enlightenment is not
Let's
apart
get
from the
personal
word.
here.
Your interpretation, of course.
The way he explained it is for babies. I understand why. Maybe it makes sense for him to explain this because it's very simple. It's simpler to explain this. And as he went on to explain worldly enlightenment is this and that. It's not worldly enlightenment. But anyway, I disagree with his terminology. Lucky for me, I know a little bit of Chinese. And I look at this and say, no, that's not what Master Sixth Patriarch means. It's not what he means at all. I disagree with him here. But he's not wrong. But his interpretation is too narrow. And that's not what, that's not the teaching from the Sixth Patriarch at all, from my perspective. I disagree with him. Yes, too.
Emitofuo Master. I think I agree with, I'm also thinking the same way because back then most of his early disciple was academic, and Master normally said that you are wrong and you are stupid or so. But Master YongHua said, yeah, your knowledge still can be used somehow, so to not insult them. So he said that the worldly knowledge can be transformed to the wisdom. So yeah.
Insult? Did you hear insult? I don't do that, do I? No, his interpretation. This is not the teaching of Master Huineng, the Sixth Patriarch. I disagree with him. But if he chose to explain it this way, it makes sense for his disciples, but not for you. That's why I disagree. Okay, I didn't train you this way. All of you, all the past almost 20 years now, I've been training you the way the Master Huineng explained in Chinese. The way he explained it here to his disciples, that's not what we've been doing at all. Okay? So that's why I'm warning you, I'm going to disagree with him, all due respect. Because it worked for him, for his disciples, but will not work for you at all. Okay? Because their standards or their expectations is too low. The way he groups it to 不离世间 Jue here, to combine it that way is an aberration of the original teaching. I am sorry, I disagree with him. It's not what the Patriarch is talking about. Okay? Do we have time to go into that? Anyone would like to have anything else to say? I'm a chicken. People accuse me of insulting others. Do I do that? Do I? The young lady here, did I ever insult you? I rest my case. Not yet, right? Is the answer. Yes, you too.
Oh, thank you, Master. It's actually my question. Forgive me, I'm not really following the differences in the translation. I'm just, my takeaway is what Great Master YongHua is saying is enlightenment is in this world. We can be enlightened in this world. And that's also my takeaways from your training. So is it not the same thing?
They're not the same thing, not the way he's talking about. The way he's talking, the way he dissected this teaching here is too narrow of a scope. It probably worked for his disciples, but I would not want to train my students that way. It's too limited. Okay? Yeah. Because the teaching here says, you don't need to leave the world to become, you don't leave the world and yet you still become enlightened. That's the Sixth Patriarch's teaching. It's not that you don't, you're not apart from worldly awakening. That's wrong. It's not what he meant at all. I'm no patriarch, but I happen to disagree with a patriarch. So you have to choose. I'm very clear about these things, okay? If you have to err on the side, if you have to choose the patriarch. But why am I saying this? I'm saying this because if you want to be safe, choose the explanation of this patriarch. But because I make a big deal out of this, after a while, you follow his path. When you get to the point where you said, this, whatever I tell you tonight, will come back. This is why I don't need you to agree with me. I just need to open my big mouth. Okay? And someday you will agree with me. When
Master,
your heart
thank you
is
for-
bigger, when you have more wisdom, then you understand what I'm talking about. Right now, stick to Master Hsuan. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? If you want to choose, okay, you need to choose. Choose Master Hsuan. And those, of course, those who are loyal to me, never mind. Okay.
Master, if I may.
Yeah, you
Could
may.
I'd just like to be officially on the record. I choose your interpretation. It's much clearer and to the point for me, and I appreciate it. With all due respect to Great Master YongHua, your interpretation is much clearer.
Part of my job is to remind you, if you have doubts in your head, choose a patriarch, don't choose me. I'm too radical, okay? Master YongHua rarely yells at people. I yell at people left and right. I mean, I have no manners, okay? and so you see, it's not for everyone, but it's important for you to choose properly. It's called the 折法眼. You have to select the Dharma properly. Don't hesitate. If you're not sure, choose a patriarch. That's my recommendation to you. Okay? If you choose him, I will tell you, your growth will be slower. You go something radical like me, you'll be like the rest of them out there who surpass the students who chose his path. This is why we're doing this. Okay? Same thing. Many of you monks and nuns that have all the masters before, you're here because you're finding that it's working better for you. Okay? And will continue to work better for you, and that's good enough. Okay? We're not afraid to be different as long as it works for you. Yes, 5.
The way I was reading Master YongHua's explanation, I think he touched the point you touched too, like you cannot leave this world, like all that. But I think he kind of interpreted both ways. That's why I was a little bit confused earlier. I think he actually talked about both aspects, but not as, like Peter said, not as clear and then sticking with this one point like you did.
No. He's not talking about the way I want to talk. What he's talking about is worldly awakening. That's wrong.
Yeah,
he's not talking about worldly awakening.
Yeah,
when you don't leave the world and yet you become enlightened. That's exactly what the sixth patriarch is talking about.
Yeah, what I meant
it's not about worldly awakening at all. So this point is
but
covered
it works.
In other
The
slides. Point is, it doesn't matter whether you disagree or agree with me. The bottom line is that did it work for his disciples? And it worked for his disciples. They got pretty far. Okay? I'm telling you, with the way I've been training you all these years is not this model at all. It's not the way Master Hsuan interpreted it. And that's why you got further. Now that's my case.
Yeah, sorry, Master, I did not make it clear. I did not mean this slide. I mean some other slides before and after. He mentioned the point you said that you cannot leave this world. You have to
No,
That's
not
okay.
at all.
Okay.
He corrected himself right here. It's very clear. His style is that he says, this is, you don't leave worldly awakening. And he says, after you get worldly awakening, that's when you get transcendental awakening. I totally disagree. It's problems. If you do that, you have a bunch of idiots, PhDs who says, who feel that they know everything because they are awakened to the worldly Dharma. They've been certified. They have the government backing and money backing and the mass of the world, okay? And that's not wisdom. That's confusion. I'm telling you. I gave you the example of the philosophy department nowadays. It's a total waste of time. They are so confused, they're so lost in their imaginations, in their conceptualization, which is totally lacking in wisdom. Both worldly wisdom and transcendental wisdom. It's a nonsense. That's philosophy department nowadays. Okay? And Buddhology, I'm naming two things I'm dead set against you going there even to bother getting a master's degree or even bachelor's degree, leave alone PhD. You know, is the other one is Buddhology. It's nonsense. They don't understand at all. The basis of Mahayana Buddhism is that you need to have wisdom before you can teach. You don't have wisdom, don't teach, because you're doing more harm to yourself. It's like when you don't know how to be a parent, don't have children. That kind of thing. Because all you're doing is bringing more unhappiness to the world. You pass on your unhappiness, your confusion to your children. That's what you're doing. Okay? But this is the nature, our common retribution. This is how everyone operates. That's where I came from. Okay? I'm just telling you that from our perspective. Okay? Just because we owe to our parents, who owe to their parents and so forth, doesn't mean we need to accept it. We could be better. I'm asking you to be better. Okay? Because the world is unhappy enough. The world has so much suffering enough already. You have calamities, you have flood, you have earthquakes, you have war, you have all these things. Recessions and so forth. You have all the unhappiness here. It's because we are so unhappy ourselves. We pass it on to our neighbors. We pass it on to our co-workers. We pass it on to our family members. We pass it on to our children. That bothers me. You know? This lady earlier talked about she's unhappy. She didn't say that where she picked it up from. I assure you it's from her parents. Can we change things? I'm not asking for revolution. I'm asking you to change. That's all. Have different perspectives where you should be more responsible for yourselves. Becoming happier first before you bring children to the world. So that when you're happier, you can share with people at work, with your neighbors, your friends. That's the little things we do for the world. That's important to us. Okay? Instead of the status quo, we continue because we are declining. We are more stressed out, more upset, more angry, okay? More greedy. There's nothing to be proud of. It's not that great. Who we are. We should be better. Don't look anywhere else. Don't look at your neighbor like Jumi. She says, my neighbor does that. I want to do that too because we want to improve. Look at yourself, Jumi. Don't look at her. No, I'm not asking for your feedback. This is one way only. I listen to you already. Give me a chance to speak my mind. What I'm proposing to you is that it's not a perfect world, okay? If you happen to have children already, if you believe into this, then make yourself, turn yourself into a better person to guide your children better. Give them hope that they don't have to worry about you. That's important. Yes, Way Mountain.
Master, I think that's one of the most profound ideas and thoughts you've ever voiced to us. I can see that must be Buddha thought, that if you can prepare yourself better to be the best parents possible for your children, can you imagine what this world would be like? It's profound.
Yeah. And also, if people who are older, it's kind of too late for them. Go to the Pure Land where you'll be happy right away. You'll never know unhappiness. This world is a world unhappy, and it's designed for you to challenge yourself to become a happy person. Okay? Then this is designed to motivate you to cultivate, because when you look at your unhappiness, don't blame anyone else. It's your fault. I never blame my parents. I could. Okay? But I never saw a therapist, therefore I don't blame my parents. It's not my parents' fault. Now I'm a grown-up, I'm unhappy because it's my fault. Okay? So if you don't have a chance, you become enlightened and make yourself happy, truly happy person, go to the Pure Land. You never know unhappiness. Never again. That's the message we're sending to everyone. Okay? But be responsible for your own happiness, your own well-being. Don't blame others. Okay? And if you have a chance, bring children, adopt children. 4. That's all I ask of you. Make 4 babies. Adopt 4 babies. I want you to teach 4 beautiful children so that they go out in the world and make a difference. It doesn't stop at you. Should not stop at you. I'm not going to teach you and train you so that after you die, that's it. That's what happened to my masters. After he died, nothing else happens. It will be the same with you. I hope that you will have a lot of children. 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. I don't care, but with the objective of being a happy person and teaching your children properly, then you can have as many children as possible. It's not too late. I mean, you cannot have children, adopt children, okay? Don't be shy, don't be afraid. I think we'll take a chance at DTT. I knew it.
마스터, 일단 얘기할 수 있는 기회를 주셔서 감사드리고요. 제가 좀 전에 질문했던 건 뭐 누군가를 공격하거나 비난하려고 하는 의도가 전혀 없다는 걸 먼저 말씀 꼭 드리고 싶고요.
Master, thank you for giving me an opportunity to feedback. What I said was, I don't want to attack anyone. There was no feeling about anyone.
저는 이제 진전에 관심이 많다 보니까 그런 질문을 했던 거고, 남편이 여름에 이제 한국에 돌아와서 저한테 했던 얘기는 그냥 본인 같으면 뭐 길게 결과보자를 할까요? 단식을 할까요? 질문하지 않고 지금의 이 시점에서 내가 진전하려면 무엇을 해야 되면 좋을까? 본인 같으면 그렇게 질문을 했을 것 같다고 남편이 얘기했다는 걸 꼭 말씀드리고 싶습니다.
I teach you something
감사합니다.
tonight, okay, to make your trip worthwhile to the U.S. Would you like that? Instead of my listening to you, I'm running out of time. Okay, can we cut it short? Okay, I teach you something tonight. Keep it up. And you know that you go in the right direction without any help from me or from anyone else is when you like yourself. You be happier. Okay? Plenty more blessings. Next. Way Mountain. No, no more.
아니 맞서 되게 중요한 게 이게 죄송해요. 플리즈. 세라님 해주셔야 돼요. 그러니까 남편의 얘기하려고 했던 포인트는
Lesson number
길게
2.
앉을까요? 길게 앉을까요? 단식할까요?
Honey, lesson number 2. This is your weakness.
저의 약점이다.
Okay? Lesson number 2. Listen. Okay? Control yourself. Listen. Okay? Lesson number 2. I'm going to teach you to do something that's very difficult for you to do. Don't justify. Even if people misunderstand you, slander you, accuse you of this, accuse you of that, it's a very hard thing for you Koreans to bear. The people misunderstand you, okay? Understand your intentions, okay? You still don't say anything. You endure because you need to endure the suffering. It's not about right and wrong, honey. It's about enduring suffering so that when people misunderstand you and slander you and abuse you, insult you, all the nice things that I do to people, endure. Don't justify.
예,
Don't explain.
네, 알겠습니다.
Don't thank you.
네, 마스터
Don't
생각을
say
줄이고
anything.
공을 더 많이 듣고 네, 견디겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Cut her off. It's going to be hard for you, but you, Jumi, listen, calm down. You know that you made it when you don't feel the need to justify yourself anymore. It's going to take some time, but you know that's a path for you. Stop justifying yourself. If you do that, the other Koreans might learn something from you. Wei Mao.
Master, just to follow up on your previous monologue about happiness before this previous. So what are the ways that we can cultivate happiness so that we can spread it to the world?
You are cultivating happiness. The process here is not for something for you to understand. It's for something for you to look at. Look at the people around you. Listen to them. They all changed. They all what Master Shema is talking about later here. He says, all these people, the Korean lady, people who you would talk to, look at them. They are less greedy. They're less hungry. They're less stupid. They're less arrogant. They have less doubt. And that's what Master Shema calls worldly enlightenment. They got that without understanding the concept of worldly enlightenment, worldly awakening, because of the process. It's not something for you to understand. instruction for you to follow, and it will naturally happen. You will be, I promise you. Okay? Less greedy, less angry, less stupid, less arrogant, less doubt in your head. Okay? Anyone else? See, this is a difference between our style of practice versus even Master Hsuan-Hua's, okay? Because as soon as you veer towards trying to understand too much will get in the way of your awakening, I cut you off. It's not necessary. Because when he said like, you need to understand the worldly awakening before you can get into the transcendental awakening, that's wrong. I disagree with it. Exactly why I cut you off right away. I said, don't go for that. Don't go there. Don't do this. Don't do that, because you're veering towards worldly awakening, and I'm gonna cut you off right away. I don't need you to understand. You understand on your own. After you have wisdom, you can absorb any kind of material you want. You can become a president, you become a senator, you become a scientist, you become a doctor, you become a researcher, you become a genius. Whatever you want to do, it's your choice. It's called worldly awakening after you become awakened. Okay? And meaning you have wisdom where you know that your heart is full of goodness. Therefore, everything you do is meant to be good, whether people understand it or not. Then you choose to be a doctor, then you choose to be whatever. That's what Buddhism is about, in my view. For you to go and do it like the way Master Hsuan explained it here, and again, this is just my personal opinion, this is 50 years before he just came to the U.S., he started teaching. I don't think he was that good yet. He misunderstood the concept that the sixth patriarch was talking about. 不离世见觉 here, he misunderstood it completely. That's why he went towards the worldly awakening, which is wrong. You don't train people like that. And maybe that's why his disciples, they became enlightened, but they're still stuck in this worldly awakening. So therefore, after they become enlightened, they got stuck on this model of his. And I don't subscribe to this. I'd rather subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay? Yeah. And so it's important, important. Let me tell you, we are Americans. This is Chinese system. Okay? His experience, his influence from China, the culture is very profound. But I feel that the way that he trained, because I look at the results, is that it could be improved, could be better. It would be more suitable for Western educated people rather than the Asian style of value system or Confucian, Taoism, and so forth. They're wonderful, okay? But they have limitations. They don't apply to our world. For example, Confucianism, that's Korean culture, okay? I think they're oppressive of women. Let me tell you right now. They don't respect women enough, like me. I mean, okay? It's not enough recognition for women's potential, women's importance in society, okay? Women's importance in raising children. Let me put it this way for you. You like the fact that I like my sales pitch. Be happier. Be a happy person. Bring children to the world. Okay? So that you have a lot of happy people out there in the world, make the world better in that sense. Then, if you buy into that, then aren't you also agreeing that women also are important in that equation? You can't count on the father alone. You have to count on the mother as well. So you're going to train the father only and you ignore the mother? How can you have a balance in the kids' education, in the kids' happiness? Okay? And especially, I don't know about Jung's son, but the son usually are drawn to the women, the mother. And the daughter is usually drawn to the father. Am I wrong? No. You see that? And so we need to have both parents to be trained properly, to become happy equally, okay, or up to their utmost potential. Why does the Confucian cultures tell you that women have to submit to men? That's kind of nonsense for us Americans. For me, I used to be that way, but not anymore. I swear to God. You understand? When I got married too, and I said, I'm the man of the house, you do what I tell you. And my ex-wife, who is Western educated, says, okay, sounds good. So, but you take out the garbage, you hear? It's a strong woman who taught me. I love it. To an extent. But you see, so I feel that the Asian culture has such so profound, it's so insightful, but it has weaknesses that the Westerners poke holes into. This is why the young Asians are chasing after Western culture instead of appreciating what they have. The Asian culture is so profound. The Western culture is so shallow. They lack philosophy. They don't have any philosophy. Socrates, Plato, you name it. All those have their no comparison to Eastern philosophers like the Buddha or the Confucius or Lao Tzu. No way. The best of the Western philosophy. Okay, so therefore the Westerners have no soul. The Asians have souls. You should be proud of it. You should pass it on to your children, so that the Westerners have to come to Asian culture to find their souls. And that's what the Westerners are doing here in the U.S. That's why we're here. That's why we're getting support. On the other hand, the Chinese, Asians are now chasing after Westerners and forsaking their profound heritage. That has to stop. It has to be a compromise. All right? How do we get here again? Oh, women. Discriminate against women. Yeah. Any questions or comments? I don't speak like that because most of you are women. Okay. Yeah. All right. I think we're running out of time. We continue this tomorrow night. How's that? Thank you, everyone.